The race-winning brands family, and we are excited to have them on board in 2025. They've got an extensive range of rods, pistons, valves for kids, valve train components, cylinder heads and cylinder head components, and much, much more. Check them out, Manley Performance Products. Give them a Google. I'm sure you can find them. You could probably even pick up some Manley stuff from Summit Racing Equipment, I would suggest.
Oh, absolutely. The Manley's a great brand right over the world. I mean, plenty of stockists will bring that gear in for you, no doubt about it. All right. Now, this is one thing I didn't think we wanted to see, and that's Team Turbo beating up on each other. So, two small blocks out there, one a Chevy, one a Ford. I think they're both single turbo, so they've got that nice little sound that single turbo small blocks make. Yeah, they are a bit howly. Yeah. A little bit howly. So I'm going to listen to a bit of, I'm going to be in Bump City heaven here. Bump heaven, maybe. Just call it Bump heaven. But here we go. The wait is almost over. Yes, right, that's right, Johnny Swan. The wait is almost over. Yeah, saying the scoreboard will soon be visible. That's what everyone's waiting for. I thought we haven't read them out enough then, obviously.
I thought we've been doing a pretty good job. We've been trying. Kit Hunter, the VL Calais, taking on Paul Chabotto. Red light for Kit Hunter.
Tell you what, a big dangle there for Kit Hunter on the leave, and an 03 beats a 735. 703 for Paulie. Red light for Kit, 025 minus. And yeah, 703 goes with his earlier 706 and his 707. So 1 from 1 for Paul Chabotto from Victoria. Kit Hunter from the ACT, he goes 735 at 195. That's his best DT of the day. But yeah, tell you what, Kit came out, that left-hand front wheel was just off the ground there for about 200, 300 feet. Chabotto couldn't quite see what they absolutely just want customers to come. They want. That's the difference. That's the difference. When you open a shop, you want customers, right? So when you own the shop, you definitely want the customers in there. So that's what they want to do. And as I said to you before off the mic about our friends Queensland Raceway, how can you have 466 events a year? You just got to jam-pack your schedule. Find people that want to race every day of the week. Oh, me? But I'm not retired and rich, so it'll have to be the retired and rich people that do that. Jeffrey, maybe you could use more revs next time. That is one hell of a skid from Jeff Gradden. For those people that do not know, that is a 59 Chrysler Saratoga in some form. Stephen Smith, of course, the Corvette. As we say, it says there 2017, but what do we call that? The 7. Is that the C7?
Yes, not a C5 as I apparently said earlier on today.
Okay.
And I was corrected by a number of people,
Is that right?
including the Chin himself, Mr. Rob Harrington.
Well, it's good. Big shout out to the Chin if he's still watching.
Or Mr. Slap Happy. We can call him a number of different names if we want to, because he just loves slapping the throttle in the walnuts with that car.
Yeah, he does.
Anyway,
good on him.
Steve Smith.
It's his valve springs. He can do what he wants.
That's exactly right.
He's another one of these hard-working blokes where work comes first before play. I tell you what, I don't know here, folks. I don't know who's going for the turbo car, who's going for the blower car. I just know Smithy's at the beginning of his journey with this Corvette. I mean, this is the debut meeting, so any run out of this car, when a 695, barely trying. We know this is a 5-second car. We know he's built it for Pro Mod. I don't know whether he'll ever get a radial underneath it. He might leave the Mustang to do that. I don't know. He might just be one of these guys that has one for one for the other. Jeff Gradden, well, you know what? How many runs has he done in this car? This is a sorted deal, especially at this track, his home track. So, Smithy all the way from...
But the thing with Jeff, he never leaves a thing alone. He's always changing bits and pieces on it. You know, and he's a guy who is absolutely methodical. He does all the work on the car. You know, he knows every nut and bolt on this thing. And if it's not right, it won't go down the racetrack. It's that simple. He won't even try.
All right, here we go. Turbo versus blower. Pro Mod. Oh, Smithy going for a walk. Oh, takes out. Oh, don't bin it, Smithy, please. 596 for Jeff Gradden, right down the middle. But Smithy, 025, left him behind on the tree, Steve Smith. 101 to the 60, 106 for Gradden. 402 to half track at 194. Hanging on to the car at half track. Takes out the centerline cubes at 194 mile an hour. Jeff Gradden was 396 to half track. He was straight down the middle. All he could see was probably this green thing out to the side of him. Go for a move. And Smithy, considering he's in a brand new car, got the feel of it much.
Those tyre tracks tell the story,
Yeah,
don't
I'm
they?
going to take a photo
That's what
of
I've
that.
just done.
Because, yeah, Smithy, that's not what you want to be doing. Doing some damage. But, well, we got Steve Carlson from Masterton in New Zealand, the Chicken Hawk Motorsport Ford Falcon. Likes burnouts. He's going to take on Craig Burns. Best run of the 592, 240 mile per hour run, number 2 qualifier. He's doing okay, Burnsy. Not bad for an old bloke.
Not bad. It's not that old. I reckon I'm older than Burnsy, I reckon.
Oh.
I'll ask him. He'll tell
close.
me. He'll tell me. But you know what? I love Steve Carlson's commitment to coming over there. You call it commitment. It's good. I've been watching. It feels like I already know this car because I have been watching the Sea West footage on YouTube. Met the guy today. He knows actually all the other YouTubers I spoke about, like Mark 1 Kieran and Tel Thebrew, and those guys. The other one I love, which is Straight Line Media. That's another one. Spool Media, another one. The United States as well. I feel like I know this car already. 521 cubes. Of course, beside him, Craig Burns, 521 cubes. Aerodynamically, I think the Mustang's probably a bit swoopier. Weight-wise, I reckon they're pretty well just about the same in weight. And there's not one Kiwi I don't love, I tell you. I just love our Kiwi bros.
And we're missing Rod Harvey this weekend.
We're missing Rod and of course Rod and Nat and the kids.
Yeah.
Well, they can't keep flying over here, and I mean they've already been over a couple of times this year, haven't they already?
Gee, Dragster life.
Let's just see what the rest of the year does. Of course, Rod, same deal. Got to work hard to play hard. Burns nails into the tree.
013, best reaction times we've seen so far.
And 387.5 track, and no, Mahoy at 004.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, 004. Sorry, yeah, no, thanks, James.
It was 104.
No, 004. Yeah, no, 013 off the button for Burnsy. 981 to the 60 foot, 387.5 track. And I hope you guys can nearly see that on the live stream now. The readout boards, 587, 241. That is pretty much a dominating run there from Craig Burns. And that's why he's been, of course, the Pro Mod champion.
Australian Pro Mod
champion. So there you go. What a great number from him. And look, I tell you what, our Kiwi's not. He needs the practice, and he's over here to do it. And what better way to do it than at Jambo? So look, I can see something green coming in the distance, and it is Smithy. So, folks, I think it'd make him feel a little bit better. Is that as he comes past, give him a round of applause as he comes through, and just congratulate his drive job, because that was a drive job to save it. It wasn't a drive job, it was a save.
No, so that's
a save.
That was a do everything you can to keep it shiny kind of save.
Well, I rate a drive job as one that actually takes it to the finish line. That's a drive job. A save is when you actually save the thing from binning it, and they deserve just as big a round of applause, the saves. In fact, when you ever look at the mishaps on YouTube of different stuff, they get a bigger round of applause for the save than the drive job, because the cars normally pull up safe. All right, give him a round of applause as he comes past. It looks like the front of the Corvette's all A-OK.
It does.
Yep.
What a save. Save from Smithy.
It's pretty pointy on the front of it as well. It's not like it's a big flat slab on the front, so it tends to deflect it a little bit as well. So unless you hit it with the side of the car, which looking at the tyre tracks,
It looks mint.
could be.
I'd love to see that data. Yeah, you see that little small burnout there from Ron?
It did it before as well, where it hooked up before it actually went up into tyre smoke. Don't know whether he's rolling too far forward, maybe the tyres are drying up in the heat before he gets on the loud pedal. Not sure. But,
Well, of course, Fab, for so many years, Fab was used to having a clutch in his car.
Yep.
But he's another one, like even Zap's gone to a converter. Like nearly the whole world. Like even that World Series of Pro Mod a couple of weeks ago, 82 Pro Mods. There wasn't too many with a clutch pedal in them. And remember Tim McCamus, did you ever see that thing Tim McCamus did a couple of years ago about what it takes to race Pro Mod now?
Bag of Cheetos.
A bag of Cheetos, like literally talking about now that you've got a converter in the car, now that you got this, now that you got that, you're not doing any work on the car anymore. Hey look, it makes practical sense. If that's one less thing you have to thrash on between rounds, by all means use it. Yes, has it made drag racing, especially Pro Mod, more competitive? Yes, it has. But, as you heard even George Raham talk about in his combination, he's chasing Ultimate outright ET, and the converter's just giving him the window, especially that smaller engine, that window is just too fine when all the conditions are perfect to get it to spool up and get it to do what you want, especially tuning on a run. When you've got yourself a lazy, 3,000 plus horsepower out of these things and that instant torque from the blower, that's not so hard. All right, Ronnie, send it, son. 981 to the 60, 381 and a half track. 579, 248 mile an hour. I think nearly identical, 60 to Burnsy. 381 at 195 though, just a little stouter. And then 579, 248 mile an hour. The Pro Mods putting it on. So that's a win to him, a win to Burnsy, a win to Jeff. So all the black belts doing well. A win to Paulie Ciabotto. So one turbo win.
Well, welcome back, and we're going to keep kicking on now with Pro Mod coming your way. Ronnie Palumbo and Jeff Gradden, a couple of guys who usually run in Door Slammer, but this weekend they are running in Manley Performance Products Pro Mod. And fortunately, we have heard that Anthony Matuk did get out of the car under his own power. If you are just tuning in on the live stream, we have been down due to a pretty significant accident involving Anthony Matuk on a solo pass. The good news is he got out of it. It is okay, and I believe he's back at his trailer now, so that's fantastic news. And honestly, that's really the only thing that matters. That's right. So Jeff Gradden knocked out a low 590 in the first round of racing. This is round 2 of Pro Mod. We are running a little bit behind, a little bit like the touch of an understatement, just a touch of an understatement. Yeah, but Ronnie Palumbo knocked out 581 in qualifying, 579 in the first round of racing on a solo pass. So Ronnie's shaping up okay. He's doing all right down there. Maurice Fabietti, of course, turning the screws on this car as always. Small but dedicated crew. And usually campaigns across the whole season, but has not travelled across to Perth for the NDRC Top Door Slammer events. And obviously just looking to get some runs in, do a little bit of testing, a little bit of hot weather testing as well before we roll into the Nitro Champs coming up here in Sydney in the not too distant future. Of course, Adelaide is on in a couple of weeks' time as well. So I'm sure we'll see him down there for that as well. Jeff Gradden, on the other hand, he just likes racing locally, trying his things, doing his own deal, really. He doesn't tend to follow the crowd. He really does his own program. He does his own thing, and it works for him. So, both cars in pre-stage now. Almost set for a start. The AC Delco Monaro Clean Greens 007 on the tree for Ronnie Palumbo. Car moving around a little bit down there. He had to pedal it. And a 588 at 241. Looks like chutes are out on both sides of the racetrack. Yep. Yes, they are. Hard to see sometimes from where we're sitting up here. 583 for Jeff Gradden. But it's a whole shot win there for Ronnie Palumbo. 007 on the tree. Just call him James Bond. That'll do him every day of the week. 007, 588 beats a 583.
Yeah, 980 in the 60 for Ronnie, 986 for Jeff, so just about identical in the 60s. And yeah, 83s, 580s, both sides of the racetrack. Good time of the night to get that horsepower back. And thanks for your patience, folks, wherever you're watching, either here live. And tell you what, our diehards are still here.
Full credit to you. Full credit
to you being here in the heat all day, and you want to see how it all finishes like we want to, and all the people watching on the Real Street live stream. It's so good to have you back. Pro Mod is back this round. Been talking to a few of the guys downstairs. We will see Smithy on a bye run after this pairing, Steve Carlson and Paul Ciabotto. So so no Kit Hunter that I saw, or maybe I didn't quite look hard enough. But yeah, from Masterton in New Zealand, Chicken Hawk Motorsport, the 65 Falcon, up against the underdog Paul Ciabotto, the EB with the little 347 Windsor, 8.2 deck Army, the little Windsor, A little engine that could. Can he crack a 6 out of it right now?
And this is round 2 of Pro Mod. We've still got another round to go. And then finals after that. So plenty more racing left to come. We'll stretch into a 2-day event very shortly.
Well, we said it was the Hunger Games. If you want to watch the whole box set, stick around. We'll get you there. We'll get you there. Yeah, the last thing you want to do is get, you're 2 minutes from the end of the episode and you're nowhere near the conclusion.
No, you know what's coming.
And then the screen goes dark, and then the credits roll, and then you say next episode. Of course you're going to press click.
This is Jamboree Sydney Part 1.
How does it all end? We don't know.
Paul Chabotto. Has he run a 6 with this car yet?
Yeah, I think he has. I think he's had his first 6 just recently. I think he's at 200 as well. There's also, I've got a great photo of the year he broke the wheelie bar in this thing. So it's up on no wheels.
Yeah,
with the broken wheelie bar. Do you remember that? Got that photo somewhere.
Dave Reed will have it.
Dave will have it. He probably won't have it immediately.
Yeah. It was a big one, wasn't it?
Actually, I'll talk about Smithy the next run, because I actually did talk to him. You know how we're talking about, well, what's his wheel speed, what's his throttle position. We've got all that out of him, actually. So I'll give you the conclusions of that shortly when he's running, or maybe on the reverse. But still, Steve Carlson whittling away at this great car. And you know what? Isn't it great to see just a slightly different body? I know I've been watching a lot of the big heavy hitters in Pro Mod in the States and Radial. And, you get tired of Camaros after a while.
Yeah, you do.
You do. You want to see different shapes. And I don't mind the 65 Falcon. I don't mind an EB. And look at that.
Murray O'Connor from WA.
Murray O'Connor, yeah, he did have the he had the XM, didn't he?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still that
Similar.
sort of Falcon coupe, isn't it? Yeah, no, Murray did have a weapon of, for some reason, there, an XM. I mean, nuts to think. And then I think of the McSweeney's with their EB, double B altered production. All right, here we go. Oh, flicker. Pedal. Oh, he's lost power. He's lost power. Paulie Chabotto, keep it in your lane. Paulie, keep it in your lane. 7:58. Geez, the underdog. 7:58. He did hit the chip twice there, Steve Carlson, initially.
Yeah. That was just unfortunate.
Yeah.
I don't think it was deliberate in any way, shape or form by Paul Chabotto.
No.
He was just in a little bit shallow, and as it was just rocking on the trans brake, it was just flicking in and out, not enough to actually engage the Christmas tree there. And Steve Carlson did everything right. He put the thing up on the chip as soon as he saw his opponent come in, but the tree, the light wasn't lit long enough for the tree to be activated. So,
and again, that's all. Look, again, that takes a starter with a bit of patience too. And I think, look, I'd hate to keep bagging bump boxes, but since bump boxes have come in, turbo cars with bump boxes, starters have had to learn to be slightly patient to allow the rocking of the vehicle.
Yep.
You cannot definitely throw a pro tree immediately after the bottom bulb goes on for turbo cars, because you do see that flicker.
Well, 9 times out of 10, it's on auto start anyway. So once both cars pull into pre-stage,
That
the
thing's-
starter will
It's
flick
taken out.
the button. But what that means is that both bulbs need to be lit. Both full-stage bulbs need to be lit for a certain amount of time. I'm not sure what the period of time is. But obviously when it's rocking backwards and forwards like that, it's just not enough to engage the tree, for lack of a better word. So,
and look, we've seen an example of that today, where even in Modified Compact, our friend with the Falcon bumped back, like had it in, but then they threw the tree, or the tree got thrown, and the thing's actually bumped back. So there is a bit of a, it's a fine line when you shallow stage it like that, especially with cars with bump boxes, or even for that matter, cars with trans brakes. The old-fashioned bring it in and just use the trans brake to bring it in, and the cars can rock on that trans brake.
Just rock that little bit, that little bit of play in the gearbox.
If you don't have that front brake pressure on your line lock when you come in and you rock those things, I've seen massive rocking with trans brakes before. That does mess with that staging procedure. It's so much more exaggerated when you see a pro tree moment.
Yeah.
When you know that the things are ready to get cut loose. And
a lot of that comes back to, like you said, cars that if they may not be engaging the line, they might just be relying on the trans brake only to hold the car. That's when you see it really rocking backwards and forwards. So it's less than ideal. You would think that most of these guys should be using brake pressure, but at the same time, who knows?
Okay, a little bit of telemetry here from Smithy on the last run. Okay, so I said, what was your throttle trace? So 4.14 seconds into the run from letting the button go, he's off the throttle. I said, well, that's funny. We had 4:04 on the 660. So you're telling me 4.14 seconds into the run, you're off the throttle. I said, but you're already eating the centerline cones at 4:04. And then I said, what was the front wheel sensor? And Kevin goes, oh, we've been having a little bit of a problem with the front wheel sensor. I said, oh, what was it reading? He goes, 700 mile an hour. So I said, so it's clearly not 700 mile an hour. And then Smithy goes, well, when I drive the car like that, he said, he does little steering inputs. So he's steering left, steering left, steering left. And he says it wasn't working. He said, I know I can feel it when it starts to steer because I'm steering it left. I said, well, clearly it wasn't steering left because those wheels were in the air. So that nearly confirms it. They weren't on the ground.
And he was going to the right.
And he was going to the right. He's steering left and things going to the right. So, yes, those wheels were in the air. Yes, he ate the centre line. Yes, he was off the throttle a tenth after he hit the centre line. And the wheel was at 700 mile an hour.
It's going to the same
still
spot.
The wheelie again.
Yeah, front wheels were in the air again.
683 at 155 mile an hour. I'm actually thinking back, would you believe a couple of weeks ago when we had our first Kender, he had the Mustang there. Mm-hmm. I don't know whether we had a wheelie award, but he was power wheeling the fastback over the 660. So he was literally driving that thing with all the power in it, power wheeling to the 660 with the other car. So it looks like the same setup that they had in the fastback they're putting into the Corvette. And that thing is responding by hoiking the wheels there again.
It looks like a little bit, because the car's staged up straight, it looks like it might be driving off one wheelie bar ever so slightly.
It is.
So as it's riding the bars, it's actually just pushing it. So I think maybe just changing the setup on the wheelie bars might actually get that thing straight down the track. Because let's face it, you don't need the front wheels if it's going down the middle.
Well, I noticed on the wheelie bars, just looking at them standing in here before, is that when you're looking at the car pointing down the track, the right hand, I can't say driver's side because it's a Corvette, but the right hand, if you're standing behind the car looking ahead of the car, the right hand wheelie bar is lower than the left, so it is going to hit the ground first, that right hand wheelie bar. So that was already sort of set in the back. Whether or not there's more tweaking to be done on that, I would imagine so. Oh, yeah, no, that's right. No, that's right. Justin's just reminded me. I was just talking about Smithy at Kender about his power wheel stand. No, he didn't win the wheelie contest there. Guy Hall did.
Yeah.
Guy Hall did. The big wheel stands and the height and the hang in the hall. But no, Smithy was power standing at Kender as well. Almost got it. Almost got it there at Kender, but it was Guy Hall. We did give him a notable mention, Smithy in the other car at the Kender a couple of weeks ago, where he wheel stood. Big power stand. All right, here he is on a solo as well. So I'd say maybe Kit, one of these guys. I think the only other guy I thought of was in Pro Mod was Kit, and he ain't there. So that's why I think we've got two solos. He's going to take the light. He's not going to wear it out. Burns is going to save. Keep his lollies. Keep his lollies there. There we go, sir. Fantastic. And look, you just got to take that win. ET-wise, I mean, if that's round 2, I think we said, if we're not mistaken. So that means that he gets, it doesn't matter in round 2, it's more round 3 about getting an ET. You would think if you were looking for a finals berth, and that was round 3, that heat exchange, the transmission cooler that they put on these cars, that's basically the lifeblood of making sure those things survive the gearbox and the converter. So that's at least one thing they've got to do to cool the thing down. And I would assume once they get a little bit of that done, I think we all know that we're aware by now, we are behind and we are late and we are pushing hard to get everyone done and satisfied. And this is round 3 of Pro Mod to be done.
And then the final yet to come.
And then a final. I see a Pro Turbo car there too, Eddie.
6 degree Eddie.
6 degree Eddie. he'll wonder, I'll be laughing at that at trophies, I'm sure, but that's just what we've noticed, our own observations. Like, man, you're putting that thing on an angle. Yeah, well, it could be anything between 6 and 15 by the look of it.
Yes.
The degrees that he's preloading that car up into stage.
So Jeff Graden's going to go on a solo pass here in the Chrysler Saratoga in Pro Mod. Getting bit of a battle of attrition today, not just in Pro Mod, but across all their categories.
Yeah, Nelly.
Hunger Games.
Yeah, Hunger Games.
So Jeff Graden, the Sigra rolling stock components car. Now, is he just going to accept the green? No, he's not. I was going to say, that's not Jeff Graden's style. He likes to send it.
He's going to send it, whether he's treated this event as basically some test hits, as I wins the next opportunity to hit the car. Tell you what, with Pro Mod here, fits in perfectly, of course. And who knows? Could still end up somewhere near a final here. We've got someone on the live stream saying, hope Ronnie Palumbo wins Pro Mod. There's half a decent chance that he could, just quietly. This is an important round, and you know what? I know it's late. I know that the care factor is basically turned all the way to 11. Sorry, the don't care factor. The care factor is -1. The don't care factor is at 11. Sorry, two knobs beside each other. You and me.
No.
But you know what? We're still going to treat this round as it deserves, whether we're on time
exactly
or not.
Right.
That you've got to run your business to the stripe to have the best chance of making a final. You cannot roll down. We've had too many guys roll down on a solo in round 3 and go, hey, I'm 3 from 3 while I'm in the final. So sorry, mate, there was more than 2 people at 3 from 3, and on a count back,
as per the rules,
you were the slowest.
Yes.
So you need to push this thing to the finish line if you've got a fighting chance in case there's a count back. Even if it's 2 from 3, you may have lost one round. Round 3 is the most important round to win, or at least sometimes you can be 2 from 2 going into the 3rd round, lose, but have a really good ET, and we'll count that ET on a count back if we need to. So let's see. Graden, I dare say the old Saratoga's going to get legged down here at 10 past 11 on a Saturday night.
Nearly Sunday morning.
No, it's not yet. Still got a bit of time there.
You're an optimist, aren't you?
Yeah, no, we're on. All right. All his. All yours, son. Jeff Graden. Whoa. Jeffrey on the shift. Either it gave it a rattle or whatever. Went 100 to the 60, 262 to 330, and was already off the throttle. 423 at half track. And a 765 at 126 mile an hour. So some power being ramped in there. The thing started to go for a walk. It was just somewhere near there. I reckon as he's ramped some power in there, it's rattled. And even then you could see those Saratoga taillights kind of do a little jump there as he squeezed that throttle out one more time. That I'd say, well, I shouldn't say that's the end of his night. Let's see whether a 765 comes into play.
Cuts the mustard.
Yeah, let's just see. I mean, we got Smithy somewhere there, I think we saw. They've turned their thing around. Oh, he's got to run Ronnie Palumbo here. So this is a... I mean, all you got to think of is if someone messes up here, it can go back the other way.
It's a bit of a danger match up here for Ronnie. Morris Fabiati out in front of the car. I think it's well past his bedtime. The AC Delco VP Fuels sponsored Monaro, and plenty of RPM on board for Ronnie Palumbo. Steve Smith yet to really make a full pull with this car.
Because the damn thing keeps power standing.
Yeah, you can't keep the front end on the ground. That is a bit of a problem.
This is virtually doing what the old Mustang was doing, and that it just, once that power comes in, that thing is a beast, a power wheel standing beast, and it's doing the same thing the old Mustang does, and that's sort of send itself towards the centre line. I think if they politely ask Birds, can you have a quick look there, Birds? He might just go click. He might, one bolt hole on a 4-leg sometimes, like shocks. I mean, you've kind of got to start from scratch. And remember, the car's virtually brand new, so we can't criticise them for any setup that they've made on this car. They're just glad to have the thing here at the end of the night and the thing's still running, which is, more than we can say for some of the guys that have done plenty of Jambos in the past, and something's bitten them today. The carnage bug's bitten, and some of that stuff just you can't come back from. But here he is with a brand new car on debut in competition. This very well could be a run. Turbo guy jamming into the rib cage of the blower guy. this is honestly personal opinion. Australian door slammer racing should have been here 15 years ago, doing exactly what we're seeing here. And it took guys like Colin to bring it into Jambo to say, you know what, we can't see blowers versus turbos anywhere else in this country in Pro Mod. We've got to bring it to Jambo, and we've done it. We should have seen it 15 years ago. Get with the times, we have. Oh, Smithy! No. He put it on the chip. Ronnie goes 574, 249 mile an hour. You're going to give yourself every chance to get to a final. That's it, Ronnie Palumbo. I don't know whether Smithy would have had enough on him tonight, but just Smithy went in there and look, he didn't get hung. Look, Ronnie didn't take his time. Ronnie didn't hang him out. And, you know, sometimes you think, oh, yeah, that's how you get a turbo car, just hang him out. There was no hanging out there. Ronnie had plenty of time. And I'm sure if we went back and look at the replay, that was under 2 seconds. It was not a hangout at all. Yep. He put that thing in. Smithy was the one that flinched. Yep. He literally had it on the chip. It was just a second too long, probably in his opinion. But it was still only about 2. Because I know when you go in on with any turbo car or whatever, and you go to Bump City, you're there by yourself.
Especially when you're racing a blower car.
A second feels like a week. You know what I mean?
If you're in a turbo car and you go in first and that happens, I mean...
Yeah.
Not saying there's anybody to blame, but it is what it is.
I don't think Ronnie was going in first, I don't think. Which, I mean, honestly, if there should be a rule written anywhere, blower cars should go in first. Because remember, they can go to the chip and the button. They don't have to load anything up. I know that sounds like you're giving turbo cars an advantage.
It all depends whether or not you got the button in it. If you can run in the clutch and you got to bring it up manually, you know.
That's open.
Case in point, if that was a car like Rob Harrington on the other side of the racetrack, very, very different result.
Yeah, no, well, that's it. So you would... you can make an exception there. I mean, again, it's almost like a gentleman's rule, but how many times have gentlemen agreed on something and then they go to the line and they've forgotten the agreement?
Yeah, I remember quite a few of them, one particular at Jambo last year.
Oh, my God. I could give you an impression of about 5 different voices there and what I heard and saw with my own eyes.
Yeah.
I could also elaborate on the rest of the evening, which saw everything from 2-step challenges to broken arms. That was a hell of a night. And again... We just can't document that stuff. It's only going to go into folklore.
No, that's going to go into folklore.
That's going into Jamboree folklore for the future. Okay, so...
you remember the winners, sinners and grinners in Dragster Australia?
Yeah, that was a great
thing. We need to bring that back.
I almost need to bring the whole thing back.
Yes.
The only trouble is, of course, is you know, how much more of the sport have we got left to be able to dissect and talk about? It's you'd have to have like 10 different sections in the one mag.
That's true.
Go to the index. What do you want to see? It's like the old motorsport news, isn't it? You used to go looking for the drag racing and motorsport news. Paul Chabotto now, Craig Burns now. Burnsy, he's a gentleman, right? Honestly, you couldn't get 2 more gentlemanly gentlemen than these 2 guys. Consummate professionals, great gentlemen. Little turbo, small block. He knows he hasn't got much chance against the villain. But look at that, Burnsy doesn't hang him out straight in. Oh, Burnsy. Oh, Paul Chabotto over the centre line. Burnsy, look at this. 79.
79.
It's got to be him and Ronnie. I reckon it's got to be him and Ronnie in the final.
100%. That's a PB, I'm pretty sure, for Craig in that car. 579 at 244 for a short wheelbase, all steel car. In fact, I'd almost go as far to say that might even be the quickest steel roof and quarters car in the country.
Oh, absolutely.
Over the quarter mile by a country mile. That's sensational. Congratulations to Craig, Shelley, the whole team, the boys down there. They've done a sensational job with it. And, yeah, 579 at 244, that's sensational.
Yeah, look, it's got to be that. It's got to be that. It's a great run from, Paulie had a crack at it there, but crossed the centre line and straight down Broadway. So that's some fast turnaround for those hot Hemis, let me tell you. They can either have a gentleman's agreement, shake hands and go, well, you win because you're quicker than me on that last round, or you say, you know what, you cool your stuff down, I'll see you in the lanes and I'll race you soon. Not in an hour, not in 45 minutes, not even in 35 minutes, but you'd almost give them 30. And I know that some of these guys are probably going to say, we can't turn that thing around in 30. Well, maybe tonight's the
tonight's the night.
Tonight's the night you're doing it.
You learn how to.
You're actually doing it. So, as we said, it becomes a Survivor Series. This is what it's going to be.
Yep, to quote Rod Stewart, tonight's the night.
Yeah, tonight is the night. So I honestly think it's going to be Ronnie and Craig there, no matter what happens here. Of course, our Kiwi, Steve Carlson, let's hope he gets what he wants here in a PB as well.
Yeah.
So PB's around. My PB's for a lot of guys today. Breakage
Which
too
is
for a
still
lot of guys.
impressive considering how hot it was. Let's be honest. Nice burnout.
Yeah, we still look, as much as I love to hear the screaming RBs, 2Js, 20Bs, 13Bs and everything else, yes, it's almost etched in our psyche that we've got to have a little bit of blow and Hemi. I think the world's better with some blow and Hemi. And yeah, look, you throw a bit of pop in there, they do well. They do well, those long things. They really do. But, yeah, that's what I meant too. 125-inch wheelbase is long.
The long things.
Yeah. Not the 300-inch ones, they're too long. But, and again, ask them to turn around in 30 minutes, they're going to say that will be 2 hours, and it's like, well, yeah, or 3 hours. And only, twice a day. And when they want. Yeah. All right, so here we go.
All right.
Yeah, there we go. So I think, yeah, someone's saying Ronnie Palumbo Burns. It's got to be, I think. I think it's got to be. Yeah, someone's saying, did Anthony drive VL Gold after he flipped the Don?
Confirmed.
He was there within an hour with a PB in VL God, and he is in the staging lanes. VL God is there for round 3 of Pro Turbo. So thanks for tuning into the Real Street live stream.
Yep.
We're going to make a few more people's dreams come true. We'll look at that. We are so close to the pointy end. Round 3 is some stuff to do. Pro Compact I can see in there for round 3, and we're going to have world record turnaround times with these cars, because we know we've got finals to be determined. Race Control's going to start doing that once we get these guys through this last round, round 3.
So Steve Carlson from Masterton in NZ. I reckon he gets the long distance award here this weekend.
JP, I think it was like a 9.81 short time.
1005 to the 60. This thing's on a number.
You better believe it, boys. 622, 224 for the Kiwis. Has he got the shoots out? Is he good? Yeah, he's good. He's good. He'll be driving like on a billiard table here from probably what he's used to. I've been watching the guy. I've been watching him get down the tracks. And all right, that sounds like some heavy stuff. Is it Burnsy? Who is it?
It is. It's Burnsy and Ronnie.
Burnsy and Ronnie. Wow. Oh, here's Danny Busbridge. Oh, Danny, back to the lanes. Lee Povey.
Yep, don't go back to the pits.
Danny Busbridge to the lanes for the final. Danny, you and Lee Povey. Danny and Lee Povey in the final. Danny Busbridge and Lee Povey to the lanes for the final. Danny Busbridge to the lanes, please. Lee Povey to the lanes, please. Victoria versus Mount Isa in the final of day 275.
I'm just saying we're not going to see Public Enemy back out today.
Not today, sir. No more. We have to wait till Brizzy Jamboree.
Kendall Jamboree.
Or Kender in June. Yeah, we've got them coming out to their Public Enemy, and as we said, big rebuild on that car from last year to now. I don't know where your money is, DJ Milkshake. Where do you go? Do you go Burnsy? Do you go Ronnie?
Look, Ronnie's got the runs on the boards in terms of the ETs today, but they're pretty close. And Burnsy has been sharp on the tree.
Shagger says, pack it up. Janie's singing. So who do you reckon, mate?
I'm going to go with Ronnie, purely based on performance, but Burnsy could snatch it as well.
All right, here we go.
I'm firmly sitting on the fence. That's the takeaway.
Me too. I'm leaning more towards Burnsy. I spent a bit of time with Burnsy this morning, and I honestly think that he's just one of the hardest working guys in the industry. I mean, this guy is exporting world-class products, producing them here in Australia, not only for an Australian market, but now a worldwide market. It's good to see Aussie-made products world appreciated, and again, the industry strong. All right, boys, one bulb each. Here we go. Flicker for Ronnie. Oh, 002. Put it down. Ronnie Palumbo, 002 for Burnsy. Oh, dear.
Oh, side by side, 575. Wow, 575 with a 7 beats a 575 with a 9. 002 on the tree for Ronnie Palumbo.
Who
Craig
won?
Burns was 031 and he was late.
Oh,
he was late.
Hold that tree.
Man, what a race. That was the race of the night or day, depending on your point of view. That was incredible. Side-by-side run.
949 to the 60 for Burnsy. 970 to the 60 for Ronnie. Half track, 377 for Craig.
Wow.
378 for Ronnie. What a fantastic pairing in that final. That is crazy. Half track, 197 mile an hour for Ronnie, 198. He was even quick.